Hey everybody, it's your old friend Fr Stu of the Paulus Fathers and associate at the St. Thomas More Newman Center, the Catholic Campus Ministry for the Ohio State University. Hope you're doing well. We're back here on office hours, my little Friday vlog, as they call it, a video log. Hope your Friday is going well and that you're setting yourself up for a good weekend. I got a exceedingly full weekend coming up that I'm looking forward to, and am even in the midst of right now, as I'm serving as kind of a chaplain type figure on a retreat out here in Columbus at St. Teresa's Retreat Center in Columbus, Ohio. And so I got that going on. And tomorrow I'm going to get to hear confessions and say Mass down at Our Lady of Perpetual Help in Grove City. And then retreat continues on Sunday, as well as another Mass at Our Lady of Perpetual Help, then back for a Bible study thing. I mean, there's a lot going on, and it's all good. But did want to at least, check in for the old office hours time to say hello, and that's about it. One thing that, I thought I'd address today, because I tweeted about it, and it seemed to have drawn at least a little bit of interest, enough that someone said, hey, can you discuss this further on your little office hours thing? Boy, it is so hot in here. Oh, boy, sorry. I tweeted out something about The Nun. Okay, so there's this movie called The Nun, and it's part of the Conjuring series. If you've ever seen any of those movies, if you don't like horror movies at all, then you probably haven't seen them, and you won't want to see them, because the first and second Conjuring are particularly frightening. This movie, The Nun, I would not say is all that frightening, though I have maybe a different threshold than some other people. It's sort of like an origin story into the particularly nasty sort of demon manifestation that is at issue in those first Conjuring movies, which is like a frightening demonic representation of a nun. So it's called The Nun. That's the deal. And so I went and saw this movie, and saw it with a couple others, and one of the things that I noticed that is kind of problematic from the get-go is that this movie is terrible. Like, it's not very good, and so in that sense, it's hard to get into the story, hard to get into the plot and the dialogue, because it's like terrible, so if it were a better movie, it would be easier to kind of engage theologically and that kind of thing. Now, others, I think, are making a go of that, nevertheless. The best and the most interesting thing that I've seen so far, I just read from Eve Tushnet in American Magazine, and her take is just brilliant. So I'm going to try and link to that, because she has this whole connection that she's drawn about possession as submission, and that the movie has to do with a fear of submission in the form of religious vows, and submission is in demonic possession, and anyway, it's just all these connections that she makes that I'll recommend reading. I don't know if I have any takes that are as deep as that. My focus is really on the fact. Oh, I got a notification. My focus is really on the fact that the movie is terrible. Maybe that's too strong a word. It is actually maybe more so mediocre. It's just like, if they just hired like one consultant, like one like actual nun, which I'm not convinced that they did. I think they could have gotten a lot of the details right, because the little things just slipped through. Everything from when the nun says that she's a novitiate instead of a novice. And there's all kinds of examples that are just kind of silly. And why is the exorcism ineffective? I said, well, it's because that priest is wearing a tie the whole movie. Surely that's it. I'm just joking about that. And then this one guy has a French-Canadian accent, which I think I'm qualified enough to say, in view of my background, that what is going on there? I know the actor is Belgian. That does not guarantee you a good French-Canadian accent, evidently. So I just wish there was more attention to detail. But, if there's one thing that kind of bothers me, and at this point I'll say spoilers. So if you're going to see this movie, don't continue watching. Spoilers. None spoilers, okay? This is, be warned. A little bit of a spoiler here. There's this whole plot point about how to, repress the gateway to hell, I guess, or the way that this demon enters through into the mortal plane. To repress that, you need the literal blood of Christ, and so they need to have this, like, so it's like a relic of the blood of Christ, and that's what's going to do the job. I just feel like, I don't know, I just hope that at some point we can, if we keep making these kinds of Catholic horror movies, that we can get away from like sacraments and sacramentals as magic, because it's not really doing us any favors in terms of how we communicate and understand our own faith. I think it would be a far more interesting point to make, and maybe they tried to do this in some way with the nuns, with the young novices' own commitment. It would be much more interesting to explore how our collaboration, our receptivity to God's grace and our collaborating with it, how that is kind of frightening to evil. I think that would be much more interesting. As if they didn't find the relic of the blood of Christ. It's like, well, why didn't he just say Mass? And I don't know. I just think there's a theme there that could have been more in depth, explored in a way. To say that, of course, obviously, God is going to be frightening to evil and to the devil and to whoever this demon is, in that direct sense. But God is trying to do a work in us and get us to cooperate with the grace that he bestows upon us, and how that is even more frightening, because then we're participating in the building up of the kingdom of God, and we're all resisting evil, and so we're no longer susceptible to it in that sense. So anyway, that's my thought. I just don't think generally the movie it didn't take the faith seriously enough. It didn't take its subject matter of exorcism or the presence of evil seriously enough. Just kind of a lot of gimmicks, and didn't at all go into any of the depth that those first two movies had, I think. So those are my initial thoughts. Maybe I'll have more at another time. We'll see if they keep plugging away at this and put out another movie. I don't know. If you had different ideas or opinions, please go ahead and comment down below. I'm not going to debate them, obviously. I'd just be keen to hear what you thought. These are just my humble thoughts. And so there you got it. All right, folks. It's way too hot in this car, and I got to go back to work. And yeah, so hope you have a lovely weekend. God bless you all. Peace.